I think the pendulum has swung too far anyway. I think we went from nobody talks about mental illness to everybody needs a therapist in way too short of a span. That's become a detriment. Both of those ends of the continuum are inappropriate. You should talk about what you're struggling with, and not everybody needs a therapist. I'm going to borrow from my friend Stephanie Wynn, who is an MFT up in Oregon, who has another phenomenal podcast called You Must Be Some Kind of Therapist, and you could find her at sometherapist.com. And she says there's a very stark difference between therapy and consultation. Therapy is, and I agree with this, therapy is still under the medical model. You have a problem, and then you ask what the goal is, which is usually to solve the problem, and then you structure some objectives to that goal, and then we do interventions. And when you're done meeting the goal, you're discharged, because by definition, you would no longer meet criteria for whatever the diagnosis is that you're suffering. So when you no longer meet criteria, you're no longer under the medical model, and you go bye-bye, just the same as we would in dentistry or physical therapy or medicine or pediatrics or any other medical profession. So in consultation, however, I can take your money just to talk to you and give you some feedback. That's the free market in operation, right? If somebody thinks that I'm awesome and my insights are worth paying for, they can pay me for those insights. We see it on Substack, we see it on YouTube, we see it on X. Maybe people subscribe all the time and pay $5 a month to hear what somebody has to say behind the paywall. But journalism has been doing it forever. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think life coaching and consultation are useful, worthwhile endeavors. What the rub is the perception of whether or not they're quote unquote vetted by some neutral third party. And that third party often is the state. So the government steps in and says, here's our minimum standard. If you meet this minimum standard, we will bless you with a credential that says that we've stamped you as valid and whatnot, and you maintain your continuing education and pay your fees. And we'll say that you are certified by the state of wherever to meet minimum competence. Well, that's cool, but I don't know what that means to anybody outside of, say, the insurance market. Insurance wants to know that the state, which apparently is trustworthy, has vetted us properly. So peer support specialists fall into that category. They're now credentialed and vetted to a minimum set of competences, and now they can bill insurance like Medicaid. I don't know that there's commercial insurances that pay for peer support. There might be. Commercial insurance does not pay for psychosocial rehabilitation or basic skills training, for example. They often don't pay for case management because they have it in-house. But Medicaid will. So Medicaid at a state level will pay for those services. And Medicaid, being the state, wants to know that the state also authorized you at a minimum competence with a background check, that you're not going to go out and harm people. Well, that's cool, but I would like a mechanism to differentiate among elite, good, fair, and poor, not just minimum. So if we can figure out a way to elevate the profession broadly and capture the paraprofessionals to the maxi professionals or whatever, then maybe we have a star rating system or something like that. Then we can really ascertain who's being effectual in a positive way rather than just billing for the sake of keeping somebody on the calendar. So I think that's the rub. It's up to the consumer to decide, do you want a licensed marriage and family therapist? Does that mean something to you because the state of Nevada has given me the blessing from on high? Or would you rather go hire somebody with 3 million followers on Instagram because what they say is just some really cool stuff, which is totally valid, and they might be more effective than I am? I don't know, but I'm not going to have an ego about it. I think that it takes all stripes to help make the world go around. So, and even if it doesn't, we have them all. So we might as well embrace it.